on the right side. And I'm your host, Armstrong Williams. Thank you so much for joining us. It's controversial today. Let's get it rolling. Let me read for you. New author, Boyd E. Graves, exposes African AIDS Holocaust and state origin. Boyd E. Graves, Juris Doctorate, exposes the shocking evidence of a century-long national obsession with biological ethnic genocide. Woo! He joins us, along with our residential physician, Dr. Vaccaro, who has been with the right side for years, and he joins us for this provocative discussion. So the government created AIDS.
That's exactly correct.
Spread it.
That's exactly correct.
To basically minorities, African Americans.
Primarily Africans.
Africans, not African Americans.
And also African Americans, of course. But the
Which government?
The United States government, in conjunction with a few other governments around the world.
What other governments around the world?
Well, actually, in 1974, they met, the world population met in Bucharest, Romania for a World Population Conference. Many of the governments, even those of Africa, were there. And they did, at that time, decide on a population reduction, population control
So Africa was
plan.
a part of this?
Absolutely. Oddly enough, though, the leaders in Africa at that time, many were puppet dictators. And so, in a sense, there were no true governments in Africa, but they did join in on the plan to cull their populations.
Their credentials, sir?
My credentials are is that I'm a graduate of the United States Naval Academy, as well as a graduate of law school. I'm in my third year as an International Medical Research Director for the International Medical Research Foundation, the Common Cause.
But you're not a physician?
I'm not a physician as such, no.
Continue, please.
Yes, the U.S. Special Virus Program began in 1962 and persisted for the next 15 years until 1978. It produced 15 yearly progress reports of the program, which detail nearly every experiment and every contract. We have also found the budget for the program. They spent $550 million to make the HIV enzyme, and that investigation is currently underway with the General Accounting Office. This special virus program is for the purposes, whether it comes through sex, whether it comes through the air, there appears to have been a federal program that made a virus.
No. Now you're saying there appears to be.
Well, there's
you were
proof.
emphatic before.
It's absolute.
Proof or not? Okay,
there's
so
absolute,
absolute. Okay.
absolute evidence
Okay.
of a federal virus program, sir. Let me state for the record what the information is.
Okay, for the record.
The U.S. Special Virus Program began officially in 1962 and ended in 1978. It produced 15 of these progress reports, some of which are some 400 pages apiece. It details every experiment and every contract, and it also has a flowchart document, a blueprint to develop to develop a virus that depletes the immune system.
How long?
We want this program reviewed, sir.
How long?
I don't believe that any nation, and especially the United States of America, introduced the virus into Africa. And I don't think our philosophy of government, our philosophy of morality, sustains the belief that our government, or any person in this government, is waging a war against minorities, and especially African Americans and native black people. I cannot believe that. And especially I cannot in any way even think or conceive of the notion that our great nation, which has imperfections, would do such a dastardly deed. I believe firmly that this germ, virus, is spread through sexual indiscretions, and I also believe that the nations of the world, aside from the United States, would not participate in a waging war of this type.
Is that right, Doctor? Well, in this regard, though, the public law signed by Richard Nixon on March 16, 1970, authorizes population stabilization. And as I understand it, there are two means of doing population stabilization, either mass increase in the death rate or mass decrease in the birth rate. We believe that we can show epidemiologically that there has been mass increase in the death rate, particularly as it relates to sub-Saharan Africa, as a direct result of U.S. policy. Public Law 91-213.
Well, that's a different situation. That's not virus. I believe the depopulation of the world is due to abortion, which is an abomination. That is destroying people more than, as you say, the virus, which I don't accept.
Yes, sir. All I would say, though, in response, is of the 15 progress reports of this secret federal virus program, how many have you personally reviewed?
I personally
Yes, sir.
reviewed?
Yes,
I
sir.
reviewed none.
Yes, sir.
I'm
And in
using
that regard,
just a moment.
yes, sir.